Welcome, everyone. Thank you for attending our virtual career fair today and for joining us in the auditorium. My name is Amy Roberts. I'm the National Talent Connector here with LHH Canada, and I'm very pleased to be joined by Erich and Javiera from Zensurance, and they are both going to provide us a spotlight on their organization. So thank you both so much for joining me today.
No worries. Thanks for having us.
For having us.
My pleasure. So let's jump right into the first question. First of all, what are the core values at Zensurance?
Yeah, so I could definitely take this question on. So for us here, we definitely have a fresh take on the insurance industry, and our culture is really centered around the core values that we've outlined, which are invent, include, integrity, and deliver. So the way that I would describe our values, will include, for one, we really want everyone to feel that this is a safe place for them, whether they are physically in the office or at home, they can come and be as they are. And we want everyone to do what's right for them. Invent, of course, we are an insurtech organization, so we want to reflect on our ability to be able to build in all of the roles that we have within the organization. Integrity, we want to do what's right for our clients and our customers. And then deliver, we set really ambitious goals and hold ourselves accountable to achieving those goals. But we also want to be able to celebrate those big wins that we have together as a team. So yeah, I'd say that kind of goes over all of our values that we have here.
Celebration part sounds fun. So kind of a segue into our next question. Can you describe a bit about the company's working culture? How would your current employees describe the experience of working at Zensurance?
Yes, I would say our culture is really centered around those 4 values that we've outlined, but really we want everyone to be able to build. So even how we came to be with those values, we actually had a whole exercise where everyone was able to contribute to see where the organization is going to go. Outside of that, I would say we definitely are quite fun here. So one example I have next week, I think it's next week, we're having a chef actually virtually come in and do a whole cooking lesson for employees. And if your family members also want to join and contribute, that's a big part of that as well. And we definitely are a tight-knit culture that we had when we were in the office, but we still want to maintain that sense of strong relationships within the organization, even being remote now.
Wonderful.
And from my perspective, really, we're a very strongly collaborative environment, and it's an environment where everybody's open to receiving feedback and giving feedback, as opposed to not being sure where you stand on things. It's a very open environment in terms of feedback, and that's something I really, really value. And from another aspect, when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, that is a big priority for us as an organization. And we started doing things this year like implementing surveys to figure out where we stand and how we can create some measurable goals for our organization when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, including compensation reviews, all that fun stuff, everything that goes into diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's supported by employee resource groups as well, where we've created a diversity, equity, and inclusion committee along with subcommittees that look at our biggest challenges when it comes to, for example, we have a subcommittee for hiring. We have a subcommittee for analytics. We have a subcommittee for training and development, and there's a subcommittee for engagement when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it is a big priority for us.
That's fantastic. Thank you for bringing that up. As you just answered one of my questions I was going to ask later. So that's great. So yeah, definitely diversity, equity, inclusion, one of the pressing things for a lot of organizations this year, as has COVID. So can you explain a little bit about how COVID has impacted your organization?
Yeah, I would say for us, we were always a digital first organization. One thing is that, we already had that flexibility of working from home some days in the office. So we did have to fully transition to that fully remote environment. And when things do improve, we will provide our employees that opportunity to decide, what works best for them. So we do have permanent remote opportunities, and we are still remote right now. But I think it's going to be more of a hybrid model moving forward.
And just in terms of an anecdote from my perspective, because I recently joined Zensurance about 3 months ago, and I worked at a company that was very tech forward in terms of how it worked remotely. And there's a big difference between tech forward and being tech first. And with the tools and resources that we have internally to stay connected and collaborate, you get the best of both worlds. You get the best of working from home where you don't have to necessarily commute, but you also don't have the distractions that come with being in an office with people hovering around the desk or moving around the desk or the noises and the conversations, but you can still collaborate and still have those conversations in a very effective way. And the meetings that we have when it comes to virtual meetings, things actually get done as opposed to discussing things and nothing getting done. So it really has been a very night and day experience so far when it comes to working remotely.
That's great insight. Thanks for sharing that, and congrats on the new job.
Thanks.
How about the recruitment side of things? Because both of you are on the recruitment team, can you talk a little bit about how COVID has impacted your recruitment and potentially your onboarding processes?
Yeah, I would say for us, we really took it as an opportunity. We've actually doubled the organization in a year. So
Wow.
Most people here have not met each other face to face. I've not met Erich face to face, only over Zoom. And we've created a structured onboarding plan for everyone that comes into the organization, with the first week really focusing on that relationship building piece. So getting to know your leaders, your team, and all the heads of department. You have an opportunity to have a one-on-one call with them to really understand what each member of the team does and their function within the organization. Of course, there's more training involved for each position after that, but I would say the first week is really that relationship building piece that we focus on.
That's fantastic.
It's also provided us with an opportunity to really speed up some of our processes when it comes to hiring and recruitment, because there's less challenges when it comes to booking physically. We can actually just jump into remote rooms, and so it makes it a more expedited process.
Which is interesting to hear, because I think, this time last year when COVID was just new, it was a lot of organizations were still trying to figure it all out, and it was actually delaying the process quite a bit until they sorted that out. So glad to hear that that's not the case.
By the time I got here, they were already pros at virtual onboarding and recruitment. So
fantastic feedback. A general question, just around attributes of candidates that you're seeking in general. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but just in general, can you describe your future workforce? Will it change much from now, do you think?
Yeah, so I'll speak about the areas that I support, and the areas that I support is mainly on the engineering side. So the developers, product managers, when it comes to technical product managers. And what I can tell you is that we are very strategic in terms of how we hire, and we also keep our people at first and foremost at the mindset. First and foremost, we keep people in mind so that we can make sure that they're not overly taxed in terms of overly burdened in terms of work. Work-life balance is a big priority for us. So one of the bigger focuses for us right now is actually on hiring developers and making sure that we have strong balance between senior developers to provide leadership, not necessarily leadership guidance, but mentorship for our juniors and intermediate developers, supported by good third-party external training programs for leaders to prepare people for the next stage in their development within the organization. So those are some of the big things that we are focusing on. Again, it's going to be more of those developers and product managers that we're going to be growing over the next few months and year. And like Javiera said, we've more than doubled in size during the pandemic, and we've seen the hiring plan. We're not stopping anytime soon.
And that's why you're here today.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Javiera, do you have a take on that?
Yeah, I mean, on the insurance side of the workforce, I would say we're already operating in that future. When people join our organization, we're already paper-free organization, and yeah, we want to take that administrative burden of the role away from our brokers that we employ. And in return, I mean, we're making that customer experience even be more seamless than it already is. So I'd say that's a big piece for us on the insurance side, is taking away that administrative burden and providing our brokers a chance to provide a service to those clients that they do end up interacting with.
Fantastic. That's a great way to describe the future. So thank you for that. You mentioned, Erich, a few of the roles that you're focused on right now on the technical engineering side. Can you tell us a bit about the jobs that you're actively recruiting for today and in the coming months? Is it a little bit of everything across the board on the insurance and the tech side? Is there any insight there?
Yeah, where do I begin? We have I think this is going to be a great spiel for the target audience here. We have several senior developer roles available and quite a few team lead positions available, all from growth, because we are looking to grow our platform. We do need to increase our technical capabilities. So we need those senior developers. So we have 1, 2, 3 senior developer positions open at the moment, as well as 3 team lead positions available at the moment as well. In addition to an intermediate developer. And again, when we look at our stack, our technology stack is a MERN stack. So that's MongoDB for the database. That's Express for a framework on the back end, as well as React and Node, structured with Node.js. So all kind of a JavaScript framework or environment. And so those are the things that we really look for in terms of our developers. For product management, we are currently working on product management for what's considered our core system. So the main part of our platform, the brains of the operation per se, as well as future needs when it comes to payments, implementation and stuff like that as well. So those are things that we're looking at right now from a technical standpoint.
And Javiera?
Yeah, on my end, I would say, yeah, it really doesn't stop to really support the demand in the business that we've had coming in the past year. I would say more clients are focusing on going online first for their insurance needs. So that's really where it comes in. Right now, I could tell you that we have 2 team lead roles in our new business broker space. We have brokers across the board, either new business, accounts, renewals that we hire for. We also have a new program that's coming in place, the commercial broker training program. And that's really an opportunity that we created for new brokers. So people that are coming from a second career, maybe newer to insurance or no insurance experience, but have a retail or customer service type of background where they can transition into our organization, and we provide that thorough training. So that is a position that will be posted the first week of April. And we normally hire anywhere from 8 to 12 brokers through this program. And we've done it a few times now, and we've had tremendous success with the individuals that we hire. So
fantastic. Yeah, and that second career, I mean, I think COVID has really been an opportunity for a lot of individuals, depending on what industry they're coming from, to really think about those next steps and what they want that to look like if their industry was hit extremely hard and may take a while to get back. So it's great to hear that they have options going into your industry, that it's not necessarily always looking for individuals coming from the insurance industry. That's great. So speaking to that, it's kind of the last question just to wrap up, and Erich, you talked a lot about technical skills obviously required for the technical and engineering type roles. Javiera, you're talking a little bit more about those second careers, but in general, can you talk about what types of candidates do you look for? Are there specific attributes that are not related to technical skills or hard skills that you look for in new employees to join your organization?
Yeah, Javiera, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I would say across the board, we want people that are curious, that ask questions, ask the right questions, problem solvers. I mean, we're changing an entire industry, flipping it upside down. So we want people to come in and be able to problem solve. And we strive off of that feedback from our employees in all aspects. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, we're also very client and user focused, and we're very data driven as well. So, Javiera mentioned being humble and that humility. We have a great saying here that says, strong opinions loosely held. Everybody's going to come in with their own perspectives and their own experience that are going to inform their opinions that they have. But you have to be comfortable to check your ego at the door and allow yourself to be open to hearing new information that might change your perspective, whether it's from a senior person on the team or whether it's from a junior person on the team. You have to be open-minded to hearing different information and changing your viewpoint based off of that new information. So that's where I say we're data driven as well.
Fantastic. And you mentioned the feedback there ties back into the culture that you're talking about, where you're taking into account everybody's feedback and offering up your own, and it's very inclusive environment. So sounds like a great organization to work for. So anything else that you'd like to add? I don't have any other questions for you. Anything else that you'd like to tell our audience about your organization today?
No, this has been great, and we look forward to meeting you.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again so much for your time today. And everybody else, make sure you go and check them out in their booth. They're at the very end of the list at Zensurance. Unfortunately, it's alphabetical. So you have to go all the way to the end of the exhibition hall to find them, but it'll be worth your time.
All right.
Thanks, guys.